The Airbnb Nightmare. Megan was excited about her vacation. She had booked a quaint little cottage through Airbnb for a peaceful retreat in the countryside. Nestled in the woods, it promised seclusion and serenity. Little did she know that this innocent getaway would soon turn into a chilling encounter with a psychopathic stalker. Upon arrival, Megan was greeted by a middle-aged man named John, the owner of the cottage. He seemed friendly enough, showing her around and offering tips on local attractions. Megan settled in, enjoying the solitude and natural beauty surrounding her. The first few days were perfect, but then she started noticing peculiar things. At first, it was just subtle changes. A misplaced book, an item in her toiletries bag that she knew she hadn't packed. She brushed it off, attributing it to her own forgetfulness. But as the days passed, the incidents escalated. One evening, Megan came back to her cottage and discovered that her things were all messy. It seemed like someone had gone through her belongings, searching for something in particular. Her heart raced, and she felt a tight knot in her stomach. She called John, but he didn't take her worries seriously and said it was likely just a mistake. But Megan felt that she was being watched. She noticed a figure in the woods during her walks, a figure she couldn't quite make out. Fear gripped her every time she ventured out, and paranoia consumed her thoughts. In the dead of night, Megan was jolted awake by the unmistakable sound of footsteps outside her cottage. Fear took a hold of her, rendering her motionless as the approaching sounds intensified. Her heart pounded in her chest, the rapid beats echoing in her ears. As panic surged through her veins, frantically, she scoured the room, desperately seeking her phone to reach out for help. In that terrifying moment, the door creaked open, revealing a looming figure shrouded in darkness. To her horror, it was John. Megan's breath caught in her throat, a gasp escaping her lips as she stared at him in disbelief. His lips curved into a sinister smile, sending shivers down her spine. The madness within his eyes glimmered, a disturbing manifestation of his unhinged obsession with her. With each step he took closer, Megan's instincts kicked into overdrive, urging her to fight or flee. Summoning every ounce of strength, fueled by a surge of adrenaline, she catapulted herself out of bed and raced towards the exit. John lunged at her, his fingers desperately reaching out, but she deftly evaded his clutches. Her heart thundered in her ears, drowning out all other sounds as she sprinted through the dense woods, her movements guided solely by the faint illumination of the moonlit path. Every stride she took, she fervently prayed to stumble upon salvation. Through sheer perseverance, Megan stumbled upon a nearby farmhouse, her lungs burning and her legs throbbing with exhaustion. The farmhouse belonged to a kind elderly couple, George and Martha, who greeted her with open arms. Overwhelmed with gratitude, she sought refuge within their safe haven, and they wasted no time in summoning the police. Megan told them everything, trembling as she recounted the horrors she had endured. The police arrived swiftly, surrounding the cottage. They arrested John, who was discovered inside, his face contorted with rage. As they searched the premises, they found evidence of his sick obsession, a shrine dedicated to Megan, with pictures and personal items he had stolen during his trespasses. In the subsequent investigation, it was revealed that John had a history of stalking and had previously targeted several unsuspecting women. He had been masquerading as an innocent cottage owner, preying on vulnerable guests who sought solitude. Megan returned home, scarred by the traumatic experience. She couldn't help but replay the events in her mind, haunted by the thought of what could have happened if she hadn't escaped. The once cherished memories of her peaceful retreat had turned into a nightmare, a reminder of the dangers that lurk behind seemingly idyllic facades. Months passed, and Megan slowly began to heal. She became an advocate for victims of stalking, raising awareness about the signs and dangers. Her story became a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the darkness that can hide in the most unsuspected places. And as for John, he was sentenced to a lengthy prison term, locked away from society where he could no longer inflict harm on innocent souls seeking solace in the world. Number 2. A deadly retreat. In a small town nestled deep within the countryside, there stood a quaint hotel called the Whispering Pines Inn. It had a charming exterior, its walls painted a welcoming shade of yellow, but behind those innocent doors, a dark and sinister secret lurked. Anna and John were a married couple who checked into the Whispering Pines Inn for a much-needed getaway. They arrived with smiles on their faces, their hearts brimming with love. Little did Anna know that this picturesque retreat would soon transform into a chilling nightmare. Their room, number 207, appeared ordinary at first glance. A cozy bed sat against the wall, adorned with soft pillows and a crimson quilt. The wooden furniture added a touch of rustic charm, while the faded wallpaper whispered stories of the past. But hidden within these walls, danger awaited. As night descended upon the town, Anna lay peacefully in bed. The silence was broken only by the distant hum of crickets. John, on the other hand, was restless. He stared at his wife, his eyes filled with an unsettling intensity. Dark thoughts swirled within his mind, concealed beneath a mask of affection. Suddenly, a sharp pain pierced through Anna's chest, tearing her from her dreams. She gasped for breath, panic consuming her. John awoke beside her, concern etched across his face. "Anna, what's wrong?" he asked, his voice thick with faux worry. She managed to whisper, "It hurts. John, it hurts." In a frenzy, John called the front desk, begging for help. The receptionist promised to send assistance immediately. Meanwhile, Anna's condition worsened, her vision blurred, and her pulse grew weak. Panic flooded John's eyes, but a glimmer of something darker shone beneath the surface. Minutes stretched like an endless eternity as they awaited help's arrival. Anna's fragile life teetered on a thin thread, her strength fading with each passing moment. Suddenly, the door swung open, revealing a young nurse with a pallid face, her alarm evident. She rushed to Anna's side, frantically assessing her vital signs. "We must get her to the hospital," she urgently declared. John nodded, his eyes feigning concern. The nurse's gaze darted between the couple, suspicion lingering in her eyes. As they hurriedly transported Anna to the hospital, the nurse couldn't shake a nagging feeling that something was wrong. She meticulously examined Anna's body, searching for any signs of harm, her touch gentle yet probing. And then, her careful inspection revealed a small puncture mark on Anna's chest. A chill ran down the nurse's spine as she pieced together the puzzle. Her gaze shifted to John, who stood nearby, his face masked with innocence. Deep within, the nurse knew the truth. Anna had fallen victim to a lethal injection, and John was the sole culprit. Returning to the hotel, the police arrived to investigate the crime. They meticulously combed through room 207, scouring for any evidence that would lead them to the truth. John played the role of a grief-stricken husband, tears welling in his eyes, but the police remained unwavering in their vigilance. Within the dimly lit room, a tiny vial concealed itself beneath the bed, its contents matching the poison coursing through Anna's veins. The evidence stacked against John, tightening the noose around his neck. His facade of grief began to crumble, revealing the face of a heartless killer. Nowhere to escape, John's true nature stood exposed. He had meticulously planned this heinous act, using the hotel as a stage for his malicious deed. The whispers of the Whispering Pines Inn bore witness to his dreadful secret. In the courtroom, the truth lay bare for all to see. John was declared guilty of Anna's murder, his own wickedness sealing his fate. The Whispering Pines Inn, once a sanctuary, forever became tainted by the horrors that unfolded within its walls. The Whispering Pines Inn, once a sanctuary of solace, now carries the weight of their haunting tale. The echoes of their tragic story continue to ripple through the corridors of that forsaken hotel, etching their presence into the annals of its sinister history. The memory of their horrific crime serves as a grim warning, forever etched in the minds of those who dare to tread upon its haunted grounds.